The Globe Theatre. Have you ever seen a Shakespearean play? If you have, you probably saw it in an indoor theatre with roof, lights, and comfortable seats. But Shakespeare's plays were designed to be performed in a very different kind of place. The Globe Theatre. The Globe was built in 1599 by a company of actors called Lord Chamberlain's Men. Among its members and owners of the theatre was Shakespeare himself. Nobody really knows for sure what the Globe looked like. We are able to approximate its look by examining some old drawings and written accounts. The Globe was a round or polygonal building. The plays were staged during the day because the theatre was not lit. The viewers could either stand in the pit or yard in front of the stage, or sit down in the round galleries. There was no roof over the pit, so if it rained, the viewers in the pit, known as groundlings, would get wet. The stage jutted out into the pit and was only a few feet high, so that the groundlings, though they had to stand and risk getting wet, had the possibility of being very close to the actors. The stage had two trapdoors, one in the ceiling and one in the floor, which were called Heaven and Hell. The name of the Globe comes from a Latin saying, because all the world is a playground, or as Shakespeare puts it in As You Like It, all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. Curiously, the Globe was not in London, but just outside. Theatres were not allowed inside the city by the Puritans, who were very serious people and considered theatres to be disruptive. In 1613, the Globe burned down when a stage cannon misfired. The following year, it was rebuilt. This second Globe was eventually torn down some 30 years later, after the Puritans had successfully banned theatre. Today, a replica of the original Globe exists in London. It is a few hundred yards from its original location. It was built with the same materials and construction methods as the original one. In just a few years, it has become one of London's icons.
The original Globe was not built precisely on the same spot as the modern-day Globe. At that time, the River Thames was wider and the yard would have been in the river. The original site is close by, just 200 yards away. The foundations of the Globe were rediscovered in 1989, and the site is marked by a plaque. Hopefully, one day they will be properly excavated to reveal more of their secrets. Theatre-going was a favourite pastime of all classes and walks of life. The public would travel over the river to the theatres on little ferry boats, if they could afford it, or by walking over the London Bridge, the only bridge across the river at that time. Theatres would advertise the fact that they were going to put on a performance by raising a flag over the theatre, which could be seen from the North Bank. It was thanks to the determination and the vision of an American, Sam Wanamaker, that construction began in 1993. It was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 1997. As you can see, the centre of the circular-shaped theatre is open to the sky. Lighting for the performances was in fact provided by the sunlight, so a performance would begin in the middle of the afternoon and finish before dark, so that the audience could get home safely. There were no performances during Lent or during outbreaks of the plague. The roof of this reproduction is in Norfolk reed thatch, like the original, and it is the first thatch roof in London since the Great Fire of 1666. The walls are built of Lincolnshire oak timbers and plaster made of sand, lime and goat hair. The layout of the interior has been determined by using the only picture of the interior of an Elizabethan theatre which has come down to us. The sketch was made by a Dutch traveller, Johannes de Witt, and copied by his friend Arvin van Buchel, and it is of the Swan Theatre. The globe is a circular 20-sided shape. The open air is called the pit or the yard, and it is for members of the audience who are standing, the groundlings. The yard was the cheapest place to watch a play, and it cost a penny. About 1,000 people would be groundlings. Around the yard are the galleries, which are more protected from the elements. The galleries held 2,000 to 3,000 people who paid 2 or more pennies to sit. The most expensive areas in the galleries were those closest to the stage, from which the performance could be best heard. Playgoers in Shakespeare's times would say, "I'm going to hear a play," and not "I'm going to see a play," showing how important the script was. From here, they could also be best seen by the rest of the audience, showing off their finery. The New Globe sits 900 people in the galleries and houses 700 in the pit. Actors were all men and boys, and they played both male and female roles. Costumes were elaborate and specially made. The stage projects halfway into the pit, so the audience would stand on 3 sides of it. Some would even sit on the edge of the stage itself. The roof of the stage is supported by 2 Herculean pillars made of single tree trunks and painted to represent marble in the style of Greek or Roman buildings. The roof of the stage is called the heavens, and it is from here that gods would descend to the stage, lowered through a trapdoor on ropes. The roof area is hollow for special effects. The heavens are painted with images of the sun, the moon, and the signs of the zodiac. Behind the pillars is the franche-chaînée, or stage wall. This wall contains the doors through which the actors would make their entrances. The doors lead to the tiring house, the place where actors would change their attire, in modern-day terms, the dressing rooms. The stage itself is made of wood and has a trapdoor to allow for special effects, such as the grave of the gravediggers in Hamlet. The stage is raised 5 feet off the ground. Above the stage there is a balcony which was mainly used for the musicians. Music and songs were an important element in plays at the time, but could also serve as the balcony in Romeo and Juliet, for example. The Globe Theatre, a part of English history and a fascinating point of interest in contemporary London.
With the whole series of things, Tate, Globe, Rose, and all the other things that are happening on Bankside, it once more is becoming a place of entertainment and theatre and art. And I think that is interesting, and it really is something that's happening throughout London.
Obviously, there are different sorts of evidence remaining from the time that we can draw upon. In terms of visual sources, there is, of course, a very rich source of Elizabethan Japanese portraiture. Absolutely crucial. Just the observation of precision and such detail. And it's a sort of experimental approach to the study of history of dress. And I think that's enormously valuable. It was a great surprise to me, the truth of those days, the stage,
It must be about 24 sides.